Well, what about your Seahawks? It looks like they did some work last night. It looked like somebody else, New England, did not do no work last night. Yup. For those of you that don't know, I'm pretty sure you know. If you into sports, you probably know. Yo, Super Bowl winners 2026 Seattle Seahawks. Congratulations to them. Y'all get the Joker clap. That's what's going on around here. So yeah, Seattle won 29-13. We gonna talk about it. Yep. So Sam Darnold, he gave you 202, one touchdown. That's all bro needed. Walker, he went to work, 135. Y'all might want to figure out what y'all gonna do with him. Probably keep him in the building. But yep, Cooper Cuff gave you 61 yards. Jackson Smith Enigma, light day, had a concussion protocol, but it came back in the game. He really wasn't needed at that point. He could have just sat on the bench, but that's what it was. So Drake Maye, he gave you 295, two touchdowns, two interceptions, and a fumble. Hollins, 78 yards, one touchdown. That's an issue right there. I want to talk about Drake Maye 295. Yes, it looked like he had a pretty good amount of yards, but he never got Diggs or Henry going, and those are your primary targets. Those two together had 68 yards. Hollins, who is about your fourth receiver, has 78 yards. Yes, some guys do perform at a higher level in the Super Bowl, but I don't want a guy that's fourth on my list having more than my top three. That's the issue. But Diggs didn't get going. Henry didn't get going. Another issue, Henderson and Stevenson. That was your running game attack. That was what you needed to get to win this game. 42 yards combined, and it just put a lot on Drake Maye to do more than he's probably needed to do because there was no running game, and here we are. Unfortunately, we're talking about a tough L. It wasn't the most exciting game. It wasn't a bunch of back and forth. It seemed like Seattle had this in the bag, and they continued to put it deeper and deeper into the bag. And when New England thought they was going to make a move, Seattle countered. That defense got wild. Drake Maye was sacked 6 times, one fumble recovery. Hall and Murphy, 2 sacks each. We had interceptions. We had fumble recoveries. We had sacks. We had a lot of pressures. I don't even want to call you out, big bro, but it's a stat, so we got to talk about it. Will Campbell, great rookie. I thought he was one of the better picks in the draft for New England, but 14 pressures in one game, the most by anybody this season in one game. That's ugly. You never want them to call your name as an offensive lineman. Hopefully he bounces back from that, but it just showed that him being in the position of rookie with Seattle's defense, who is a bunch of veterans with Lawrence, Hall, and Murphy. A lot of those guys over there, they know what to do. They know how to attack you, and they know how to move you out the way, and that's what they did. They moved him wherever they wanted him, and they did what they wanted to do. So, yeah, Drake Maye, he's been taking a lot of sacks anyway. 20 sacks on the postseason. He has taken the most sacks in the playoff history. Passed your boy Joseph Burrow, 19, even though he made it to the Super Bowl that year as well. Even though you make it to the Super Bowl, you really don't want to rack up these sacks. But yeah, Jason Myers, 5 field goals, broke a Super Bowl record. Congratulations to you. Kenneth Walker, 135 on the ground. That's what he did for you. He won MVP of the Super Bowl. First running back since '98 on the Terrell Davis side of the game. Yeah, first running back to win MVP. Hey, Seattle, you learned your lesson from last time, didn't you? Somebody else should have won Super Bowl MVP if you had just handed them the ball instead of trying to throw a slant on the 1 yard line. But I see you learned from this Super Bowl. You made sure you ran that ball this time. No Marshawn Lynch issues this time. He should have had it, but sorry, Marshawn. Hopefully you didn't got your recompense somewhere in life. Not in football, but somewhere in life, you didn't got your recompense. They should have gave you the ball, big bro. We still on that. Yeah, so this time Seattle learned their lesson. They said we're going to give Walker the ball, and that's what happened. 135, that's big boy numbers. They couldn't do nothing with him. I don't know what New England wanted to do, but whatever they tried to do with him, it didn't work. New England, I'm not trying to jab at y'all. It just seemed like for a 14-win team, it seemed like you guys went all the way back. You look like you went back to New England of last year. A lot of confusion. Drake Maye, Did make some good throws, but those are later in the game and didn't really push the envelope. It seemed like a team that had no idea that they was playing a team like Seattle. Like 2 weeks, you had to prepare for them. I'm not saying these guys are unprepared. I'm not saying they lack of talent, but this is what people have been talking about all year. That you went from 3 wins to 14 wins because of a schedule, and you had $100 million to spend for free agents. You had some top draft picks, and you had some draft picks the year before. So you build up the team, and some of the teams that you played is still in the gutter. So you racked up wins off of gutter-based teams, and when you had to play a lot of them, Drake May didn't look the best in his playoffs, but you guys survived. We're gonna cancel out Denver because no Bo Nix. We're gonna move y'all out the equation. But y'all did beat the Texans. CJ Stroud had a buffoon of a game, and I'm not helping the case, am I? And the Chargers, then you had to play Herbert with a broken hand. I'm not helping the case, but my point is that New England, this is what people was talking about with you guys. A lot of people was looking at y'all kind of suspect. And Seattle, which has been the dominant team all year, they basically had their way with everybody. I mean, the only team that's probably was going to beat them was the Rams, and they took care of that. That was our Super Bowl, y'all. Seattle versus the Rams a couple weeks ago. That was our Super Bowl. This was just it had the Super Bowl name on it, but it didn't give us Super Bowl vibes. It just something was missing. Hopefully we get better. We're gonna talk about some positives though. Going forward, New England, good thing about y'all got a lot of guys sold up. Diggs, he's one of your free agents that's available, or it could be a casualty cut. But I think you do need to keep Diggs because that was his go-to. It's basically Allen and Diggs all over. It's just Maye and Diggs in New England. That was his safety blanket, and Diggs is always open. Diggs is always available, so you might want to make sure you keep him maybe at least another year or two. Let him build that. Ride Diggs until he can't ride no more. I mean, it helped Allen, so this is what this kid needs, a reliable receiver. So you got Clavon Chasten, 7.5 sacks. I'm sorry, y'all. 7.5 sacks. Kind of a bounce back year. I mean, he came out of Jacksonville. People thought he was kind of cooked. Went up there with Brable and looked like a completely different person. That could be somebody that you look to keep us on that line as well. Jalen Hawkins, 70 tackles, 4 interceptions. Pretty good year. Those are your free agents. So I think you could probably keep those guys around and basically just run it back. I mean, that schedule is going to change. You're not going to get to play the bottom feeders anymore. You won 14 games, you're going to get first place teams. Nobody's looking at you as a up and coming team. You went to the Super Bowl, they're going to treat you as such next year. So if you guys are fraudulent, you probably need to get unfraudulent by September because people is going to be giving you their best shots. They're not going to look at you as a light team. You had an MVP caliber player, MVP finalist in Drake May, had a good defense, good offense, coach of the year. So people is going to be looking at y'all for real now. So hopefully New England, y'all stick around. Hopefully this ain't one and done. We want to see y'all again. Like to see teams that make it and people think that they're not good. You want to kind of see them proven wrong and like, hey, we're going to be here for a little while. We're not just going to be one and done, like some teams that I've had to watch in my life, the Bears. they was good, and then they just disappeared and we didn't see them for another 5-6 years or until they build it up 1,000 top 10 picks, whichever comes first. But hopefully New England, y'all bounce back. We'll see you again. We'll go from there. We're going to talk about Seattle a little bit more. Seattle, good story for Sam Darnold. Let this be a lesson to y'all. Somebody already learned a lesson in Minnesota. They was recently let go of their job duties as GM. I'm not going to say his name, but this is what you do when you put somebody that we thought was washed. People thought he was no good. They said he was seeing ghosts and he wasn't able to overcome bad franchises like the Jets. This is what happens when you put talent around him in Minnesota and Seattle. This is what you get. This is I believe this is the real Sam Darnold. This is what people was looking for in 18. And we never got to see that because you ended up with franchises that said, hey, you're the quarterback, go figure it out. And you never put a receiver or a line, even a defense, to at least stop the other team from scoring if you're not going to help him get an offense that can consistently score. And now look what we have. 2 years in a row, 14 wins, Super Bowl. That's what it is. And even when Darnold is not perfect, like 202, not a big game, but you have Walker, and you have the defense to just take over, and they all came together as a group and said, we're gonna make your day light. This Super Bowl, people are looking for high quarterback play. Yeah, I understand that, but Walker said, hey, I'm going to work. The defense said, I'm going to work. You can have an off day. We didn't even have Jackson Smith Enigma. He leads the league in receiving yards, and he barely played because of concussion, but he was still able to come back. But you didn't even need him. That's just how well this team is put together with talent, and that's what you want. So let this be a lesson to y'all. I ain't trying to tell nobody how to GM. I'm only GM on Madden, so I ain't no expert. I'm just talking to y'all a little bit. When you have guys that show you talent, and there's some guys that's in the league now, they probably gonna get released, cut, quarterback wise, or sent off. Don't just throw them away. Try again. Look at the film again and say, hey, if I put them around talent, and I give them an offensive line, and I do something on the defensive side, and put a coach here, a coach there, maybe we might have what Seattle had, because Seattle wasn't even in the playoffs last year. And here we are, we're talking about a Super Bowl. And we might be talking about another Super Bowl. So Seattle, as far as the free agent side, Kenneth Walker, that's your major free agent. You need to get him back in the building. After what he just did for y'all the whole year, and go ahead and sign him. I know he's had some injuries, but he didn't look like he was hurt in this postseason. That's where you need to start. You need to go ahead and get the Brinks truck for him. And then we got Rashad Shaheed. I know you traded for him middle of the season. He's more of your kick return, punt return guy, but he is your second option as a receiver, and it's a nice complementary piece to Jackson Smith Enigma. You know he's going to get the ball 10-plus touches, but to have Shaheed over on the other side, that also keeps the defenses honest, and they can't just focus on Jackson Smith Enigma. Not like it's helped, but this is what you probably want to do. You probably want to keep them together. It's not like you're going to break the bank for him, but he has shown in New Orleans that he can be a primary receiver, so you might want to look into that. We also have Tariq Wooden. That's your cornerback, your top draft pick that you, a couple years ago, that you brought in. I mean, you drafted, but, I mean, with him back there and Weatherspoon, you really can't do too much. It's kind of a no-fly zone. I know he does some stuff with the penalties, a little aggressive, but it is what it is. You want your cornerbacks aggressive. I don't want you punching people's lights out, but I do want you aggressive. You got to do what you got to do. But you probably want to sign all three of those. I'm not even going to lie to you, but I'm not paying them at the same time. So I ain't going to put that pressure on you. But if it was me, I would look. We at least checking in. We at least seeing what the price is, But whatever the price was Saturday, it ain't today on Monday, because when we win Super Bowls, prices go up. And this is just FYI. I'm trying to help you out on the GM side of the game. Madden GM. Madden GM. That's what I'm trying to help you out with. Probably give Darnold his extension, because you only got 2 years on that. Go ahead and give him another 3 or 4 and let him stay there. Why break up a good thing? You're going to lose Clint Kubiak. That's your offensive coordinator. He's going to the Raiders, but you knew that already. You knew he was out the building. I'm pretty sure somebody's been set up for a long time. Probably all season to take over his spot, because once again you knew he was out the building, or you probably have somebody in mind. But this is a team you probably want to keep together, because there's really not too much threat. I mean, all the guys that was hurt was in the AFC, Allen and Lamar and Mahomes, so that's over there. NFC, most of the quarterbacks was healthy. And I know you still got the 49ers, you got the Rams, you got the Bears, Washington probably gonna come back. I know you got a lot of those teams, but you're still the dominant team. Even if you lose a few of these guys, you're still the dominant team. If you play like that, there's nothing that not too many people can do. So we'll see what goes on, man. It's kind of sad because we ain't gonna have football. I kind of got used to talking football, and here we go. Now we got to start talking about NBA. I just want them to give me a little bit more to talk about, just a little bit more. Just wanted somebody to get traded, but some people, I guess they decided to keep him. Why? Don't know. I ain't gonna say no names. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all on the football side of the game. Let the record be known that my predictions, I won. I picked 7 right and got 6 wrong. So I broke even. I cracked over 500. That's what we strive for over here. High quality success. I'm not into gambling, but I'm just saying that's what we strive for. 7-6. I might make the playoffs. I'm borderline. So give me my respect. Give me my respect that's due. I'm just messing with y'all. But I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I will catch you on the next one.